Hey everybody, Ben here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up for yourself each and every day. So I'm going to do a Sunday morning ink blot. I have red, blue, looks like a goldish bronze, and then white. So I'll drop, we'll see what came through, and then we'll go from there. All right, see ya. All right, everybody, you should be able to see what I dropped and then what came through. So right off the bat, I see this little alien guy. I started watching a movie last night. I didn't finish it. I never saw it, but I think it's called The Fifth Element. And that guy kind of looked like one of the alien individuals. Uh, and when we look at the red, I'm looking at the root, and we can really look at here, you know, we're rooted. We can try to say we're rooted here on Earth, but I'm looking at the vessel and rooted in spirit, and how we are all connected here. We are all friends, but how do we see things? How do we perceive things? I mean, if I looked like a leper, uh, how many people would run up and be kind and inviting? Same, no different if we have spiritual experiences and we see ETs or spirits, and maybe they have a dark undertone, or we are frightened because what are they doing here? Uh, it is a vessel. This is my vessel. Uh, I could be a woman in other lives. I could have been that leper. I could have been something important, or I could be a nobody. Uh, how are we then? We can look at that as the external and everybody else, but looking at ourselves. And I'm looking at the blue down here on the bottom as our emotions and dense earthly formed here. Uh, any and all emotion. I want to say any and all fear, worry, insecurity, wound, trauma, complex, I really believe came from the external. People, places, or things, experiences. And we wouldn't have had those experiences if it wasn't there, if it didn't exist. And we're on Earth. This is our experience. So we're going to talk that way. So all this shit, all of our kind of negative experiences, our insecurities, our worries, our fears, traumas, whatever you want to call them, happen here. And those emotions are human emotions. We all have them. There's no right or wrong. But how could we be, truly rooted up here in the spiritual? We come from there. We come from whatever you believe in, source, God, divine energy, all of this. And we look however we look when we came here. We got our suit on, as this little alien guy has. And these emotions that are surrounding the blue are our emotions surrounding our perception or perspective of him or her or it, whatever. I don't know if they have genders. Some do, some don't. But in that aspect, that because we're here and they show up, these spiritual visitors or whatever, uh, it's bad, it's scary. It doesn't belong here. It goes up against our belief system. Uh, Also, anything we're told to fear, we would fear. Majority of us, that gets into uh, anything that people fear. They place a certain tone onto it, or that we don't understand, to run from it. The tower, disruption. This, how it started to come through as just the truth. The truth will disrupt things. That, I feel like everybody knows that there's extraterrestrials. Maybe they don't. Maybe they don't believe in them. Maybe they haven't seen them. I don't know. Uh, I've seen plenty of things to know that there's something else going on here than just what perceives the eye. Regardless, uh, what is painted as bad isn't always true. Um, we going back to that, what we fear, we can bastardize, if that's the right way to say that, that this is bad, this is demonic, this is dangerous. And sure, some things are, some things aren't. Uh, I was reading a book that was very, well, I shouldn't say reading, I have trouble staying to continue reading, but it had to do with astrology. And I believe it's the deacons. So I think there's 3 deacons per sign, and it went into uh, angels and demons that are connected to uh, that deacon. And it was interesting how that was all intertwined. Uh, Regardless, we portray our fears onto things. Like if this alien showed up in your room right now, how would you feel? How would you respond? Would you freak out just because of the way it looks? It We were taught in movies and in books and in pictures that this is bad, that this is scary, that this is here to hurt me. And through that, we often give our power up. No different than interacting with an individual at work or family or romantic. And if they express a certain energy of confidence or strength, authorial, we would submit because of the energy or our own insecurities or fears or worries. So, how can we view things differently there? The Ace of Pentacles reversed, missed opportunities. So sometimes I'm going with that they're coming in, that you're having experiences here. And obviously, if something did appear and we freaked out about it, it's probably not going to come back because we showed fear. And maybe now it's embarrassed of how it looks. Can it have feelings? Of course. You know, if it came in and it looked what we would call scary, is it really going to feel invited? Is it going to be open to have a conversation if we're expressing fear? So that is something to take into consideration. You could say, yeah, I'd be fine. Everything would be fine. And then if it showed up right now, would you really be fine? Would it be okay? Uh, that's a question to ask yourself. And when we have that fear, even if it was bad or dangerous or there to hurt us, that fear is opening the door to say, yeah, I have no power. I'm vulnerable. You can attack me or whatever. And it's not like we have to stand there with a sword. It is that, hey, I know I'm an energetic being and I'm just in this vessel. And just because they appear in this vessel doesn't mean that they're here to hurt me. It's just an expression of what they may look like. And going back to that is a part of us. What do we need in that time that we may be seeing something that might be scary? Do we need a warrior type aspect that would scare people? You know, oftentimes they talk about in messages how your ancestors are scaring the shit out of them, or in their house and making them see things that are scary. Uh, yeah, well, maybe we need that right now. Maybe we need that kick in the ass. Maybe we need to build that inside of us to come back into our true self. So these are all, I think we would use the word archetypes. And uh, I'm not I'm not a fan of demonology or anything, and I know I used that word before. But if you actually looked into that, the angel and the demon, there are aspects there that we may be missing or that we may need. And it's not saying you're working with them or anything like that, but it's seeing the archetype. And then no different than people working with dark goddesses or gods, all those kind of things, that there is a time that we need to be, the word punctual came through, and I don't think that's the right word to use here, but uh, proper. We need to be in a form. Oftentimes, being in consistent love and light, we can find ourselves repressing, or I should say, suppressing our voice or our self respect at the benefit of others. And the whole point of the dark and light is the balance. We have to uh, have both to really be on top of our game. And it's not in a competitional way, it is to be sovereign. You have to speak up for yourself, you have to have boundaries, you have to have strength. And when scary things come into our experience, even in toxic relationships, the whole point is to build those kind of things, to build yourself up, to generate and to become what you need to be to walk this path that you're on. So, uh, going back to that truth, everything is not what it seems or is said to be. It is our belief. Two of Wands, New Horizons. This is uh, doing whatever we choose to do with what we learn, but really, really being open-minded a bit more and uh, understanding the message, which we often don't. We like to put what we want to hear on the message a lot. And I already went with that. I'm sure we're having visitors of some sort here. And what is it? What what could I feel like we're a little scared. I don't know. It's housekeeping. It's given that we're a little scared or taken back or not understanding why. And uh, what does this being express that maybe you need to express inside? Or what is it that you wish you could express and you haven't mustered up the ability yet to express that? And they're here to help you with that. Also, we can look at that uh, they're here to help you heal things. A Five of Cups, disappointment. This is right on cue of us often having this fairy tale imagery of uh, the white angel, the very pure, loving, uh, beautiful expression coming in, and the visitor is looks like a monster maybe, and it's scary. They didn't like that. Sorry, it was just trying to explain to the humans. uh, it is it's our perception and what we were shown how things are, if you really think about it. uh, some people often say, the power isn't found in the light, it's found in the dark, and that can be taken the wrong way, as in like doing bad things. But it's where we have our emotions that get shit done, if you really think about it. In the dark, if we think of darker emotions, what do we think of? We think of force, we can think of anger, we can think of aggression. I'm sure there's more. But what actually gets done there? We're fed up. Something pissed us off. We're going to do something about it. We're going to stand up for ourselves. We're going to say, no, that's wrong. We're not going to roll over. We're not going to take it in the butt. We're going to do something about it. And sometimes we need that. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that depiction of the angel, as I said before, and then the very loving space. But that looks like I'm going to be saved and I'm going to be taken care of. It doesn't look like I'm going to stand the fuck up and I'm going to get something done here. I'm going to win this. I'm going to get through this. I'm going to push. I'm going to get myself up and out of this hole and get things done because I've had enough. Uh, Everything comes to us at different times in our life, and it's always there for a reason. It just may not look the way that we want it to look. King of Cups reversed, manipulation. This is seen it as bad. This is seen it as Uh, Going back to this missed opportunity, scary, go away, get away from me. You're here to hurt me. You're here to take from me. It's our perception, and if we really think about history and control and structure and society and higher power governing aspects, why would they tell you things are bad when they're really good for you, or there to help you or to guide you or whatever? Because there's truth in there. And if you knew the truth, we would be free, or however we want to look at it, we would be in a different space. So this is really going, and I'm sure if you're in the spiritual community enough, you have woken enough to the very basic things that, hey, if they say this, they mean it's the opposite, because whatever they say is good for you is bad for you, and whatever is bad for you is actually good for you, kind of things. Uh, the manipulation is in every aspect of our life, and it's really about having an open mind and making your own decisions. And you can think it's bad, and that's fine. But what if we were open minded and just listen for a bit and see what happens? Because maybe it's there uh, to help you in ways that you couldn't imagine. We're going to leave this here. If this resonated, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you all later. See you.